You're watching the Scottish Football Zone with all the build-up and reactions.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Scottish Football Zone. It's me, Alexander Cruikshanks. I'm joined by Robbie Collins to give our reactions to Rangers 0, Genk 1. Former Celtic striker coming back to haunt Rangers. The sports bra came off and everything in his celebrations. But Robbie, we've got a lot to talk about during that game. But what did you make of the overall game, first of all?
I mean, like we said, we just wanted some action to talk about. I think we got a lot, to be honest. So it'll be hard to actually fit all this in there, but there's no getting away from it. It's another poor defeat, Alex. And look, you said it before we came on here. I don't actually think Rangers played horrible. As mental as that is to say, looking at a 1-0 loss at home, but I genuinely don't think they played horrible. I think there's certain things that could definitely be fixed in the starting 11. The defence was so open, especially in the second half, very, very open. I think overall it's another defeat that Russell Martin's going to look at and try and bounce back from on Sunday, against Livingston. And look, take nothing away from Genk. Let's be honest, as nice as O was on the night and getting that goal, he probably could have had 3 or 4, if we're being brutally honest. So many big chances. So look, take nothing away from Genk, but I think there'll be a lot to talk about in terms of Russell Martin and Rangers tonight.
Yeah, one of my major issues with Russell Martin's team so far this season, and we saw it again tonight, was the inability to sort of create any clear-cut chances. I don't think I can remember one, maybe except from that Connor Barron strike at the end, Mikey Moore's chance in the first half, but that kind of came from a deflection. He probably should have left it for Nico Raskin. But Robbie, that's been a real problem for Rangers this season, creating chances.
Aye, and I think that's the big one for me, Alex. The one that you mentioned there with Mikey Moore and Nico Raskin's run towards it. You've just got to have the game sense there to let Nico Raskin hit that ball. He's in a much better position. You actually see him raise his right hand out to tell him no to hit the ball. He scored it. And, just that wee glimpse of, no greediness, but you know what I'm trying to say, that I want to do this, I want to be the one to score the goal out of Mikey Muller sort of cost Rangers a big chance, because if you're being honest, I think Nico Raskin probably puts that away. So, there's just chances like that, and you're right, Rangers don't create enough chances, especially at home in the opening Europa League tie. The Ibrox crowd started off all right, actually, to be fair. I thought it would have been a bit worse, but, they actually started off all right, obviously fades out as the game goes on. But you're right, Rangers don't create enough chances, and it's weird to me, Alex, right, because Rangers don't create a lot of chances, but they also don't seem to defend very well. So I'm almost saying to myself, what is this Rangers setup? Where's their strengths? Where's their weakness? You can tell where their weaknesses are, but where's the main strengths in that team? Because I can't seem to ever find them.
Yeah, the whole attacking game plan seemed to be get the ball to Diego Gassama and see if he could do something. And he's one that, again, I think tonight he was actually decent. He was trying to make things happen. You can see he's a talented player, but you can't do it all by himself. There was no Yusuf Chermiti wasn't involved at all until weirdly enough in the second half when Rangers were down to 10 men. I thought it was strange. Diamande, obviously, we'll talk about that, but really poor from him. I think we'll start on the first penalty incident. James Tavernier heads the ball off the Genk defender's arm, and the ref goes to VAR review and eventually gives a free kick to Genk for a push on the defender. Robbie, do you think he got this one right?
I mean, look, it was hard to see initially, and the sort of thought of the backwards angle, whether it hit his t-shirt line or it hit his arm. I think there's a lot to take into consideration, and I'd be interested to hear the thoughts of referees about that decision, because the Genk player, let's be honest, he's got absolutely no idea what's going on. He's jumping for the ball, his arm's naturally going to that position, so I don't think him to make the argument it's unnatural. Somebody's jumping, they're going to have the arm out. So it's not unnatural the way Tavernier hits the ball down. For me, I don't think it is a penalty. I think he's made the right call, and I think the fact that Tavernier shoved him as well probably means that as a free kick in the end. I mean, I'd be interested to hear what you think about
Well, what you see your cat hopping up there in the
that.
background?
Mirren's popped up in the background.
Aye, a wee guest appearance. But on that, yeah, I think you could look at it both ways because those kind of fouls happen all over the pitch and they're never given. But when it's leading to potentially a game-changing incident, I can understand why the referee's gone that way. In terms of the penalty, I think by the laws of the game right now, that would be given. But I disagree. I think that's never a penalty because what's he going to do there? Nobody jumps. Nobody jumps with their arms by their side.
Aye.
You know, like they're some sort of penguin or something like that. Like you know what I mean? I hate all this stuff about unnatural position. What is an unnatural position for your arm? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's
Unless you do the Jerome Boateng one from the World Cup Euros that time when he went up like that. What is an unnatural position for jumping or slide tackling? There was one last week in the Marseille game against Real Madrid, given against Marseille, when the boy was, sort of leaning on his arm to balance when he was slide tackling. And if that's given as a penalty, I don't know where the game's going in that sense. It's absolutely mental.
I'd love to, speak to referees. It would be a dream, to ask them these questions to find out what definitively should be given as a handball or not, and what is, as you say, an unnatural position. At the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know if the guys are feeling contact like that one tonight. The Genk player's obviously feeling contact. His arm's going to go up anyway because he's jumping for the ball. So, for me, it's not an unnatural position, but I bet you there'd be some referees, specifically in this country, and again, I'm not trying to, make everything negative about our referees here, but I bet you there would be referees that would go to VR and give that as a penalty and a handball in that situation.
Yeah, definitely. And I was actually expecting it, or hoping for it in my biased kind of way, but unfortunately for Rangers, that wasn't given in the end. The free kick was given. Takes us to the next major incident in the game. Well, you could talk about missing an open goal practically as well. But the next major sort of refereeing incident was Mohamed Diomande being sent off, a straight red card for him. The referee had the card out straight away, and Diomande, you can see, was hanging back, hoping for a VAR review, hoping for it to be overturned. But I said to you before we came on, Robbie, I don't know if it's the most kind of horrible red card I've seen, but it's one of the ones that I don't think there's enough there to overturn it and downgrade it.
Yeah, I was sort of thinking the word to describe this challenge because I don't think I consider it reckless, to be honest. I mean, his foot goes over the top of the ball, and you can see when he makes contact, the foot's not in a great position, to be honest with you. I think if, he's maybe went in differently, then, it could be considered a leg break. I don't think it is, by the way, but just the way the foot goes into the player's leg, I mean, it was in a bad position, so you can see why it's been given, and you're right, once it's given, it's never going to be overturned realistically, and if anybody wants some gambling tips, come to me because I've managed to predict that somehow. But
yeah, that's absolutely mental, by the way. Obviously, please gamble responsibly.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for help for your cooking from Robbie, just send him a wee message. And I called myself the Oracle before the game. This guy really is the Oracle. He's predicted an actual red card.
No, I actually don't buy it. I done a coup the night and it went bust in the 5:45 kickoff. So definitely don't come to me for advice. But I look at Diomande though. He's that type of player. Alex, obviously you watch him a lot better than I do, but he seems to always put in a lot of dangerous challenges that maybe could lead to these sort of cards. So I'm not surprised that he gets sent off.
Well, my dad was at the game, and I mentioned it before that I thought Dio had been flying about into challenges recently, and my dad messaged me at half time going, that was coming for Dio, by the way. Just with the way he's been putting himself about in recent weeks. And honestly, wasn't surprised. that was given. Genk then got a penalty. James Tavernier giving it away, got wrong side. Originally, I thought the player dived horrifically, looking for the arm pull. But if you watch the slow-mo replay, Tavernier clips his leg. It's just that I think we've all experienced it in football. It's a little clip, but it just sends you off your balance. And the referee went to VAR, and I believe he got it right in the end.
Yeah, and I feel bad for Tavernier. I need to see the slow replay again, but for the first time I've seen it, I don't even think he looks at the player when he's gone for the ball. So, it's maybe one of the things where his fit's just managed to trip him up. Obviously, he's not meant it, I don't think. I certainly didn't look like he meant it if you look at the fast replay, the fast play. So I think in terms of Tavernier's perspective, he's probably found himself feeling quite undone by that, because I don't think he knows what's coming, but at the end of the day, he's clipped the back of the boy's heel, he's went in. Again, you're not going to change your mind on that, or yet it's a penalty. So I think that was probably the right decision.
Yeah, absolutely. And then O steps up, looking to put Rangers to the sword. He doesn't in that moment. Jack Butland with a terrific save. Something about Jack Butland, I think, goes under the radar a little bit. He's really good at saving penalties. He had a fair few last season. He was obviously the hero in the shootout against Fenerbahce. He saved a penalty against Hearts a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, pushed it out to Lawrence Shankland, who scored the rebound. But he saved another one tonight, Robbie.
Aye, Butland. I just think Butland's overall a great goalkeeper, to be honest with you, and I feel bad for him. I think Butland's the type of goalkeeper. I think you listen to him, he's always out. And maybe a couple of minutes I'll talk about this earlier, Alex. He's always out talking to fans. He's not scared to show his face. He's not scared to take stuff in for the fans either. He's probably a good leader that you want at your club. Rangers have got him, but he's saved them in multiple moments. Obviously saved the penalty tonight. Obviously, still unfortunately lost the game, but there's been many moments recently that Jack Butland does save Rangers. Obviously, he had that sort of spell last season where he sort of get dropped at the team. Confidence can be an issue for goalkeepers as well. So every goalkeeper goes through that, but Butland's just overall great. And I don't know about you, but at that point, I'm sitting watching the game, right? Another wee betting thing I seen that O was on a hat trick 40-1 on William Hill, right? So I was sitting going, if anybody put that on, they've got to be raging in the telly, because Odd missed at that point a good 2 or 3 good chances to score that game.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple in the second half as well, and a goal that got ruled out for a marginal offside also. It was an entertaining night for all. And then I think we'll move on to the next major part in the game. He finally gets his goal. The Rangers defence, we talked about it before. We talked about it, in the lead up to the game. So open, so exposed, and he's got all the time in the world to pick his spot, and he does really, really well. And good moment for him in that, but you'd think he'd won the World Cup with the last kick of the game, with the way his celebration was going. The shirt coming off wasn't enough. He had to, like I said in the intro, the sports bra had to come off. And he was loving it, and he held up his shirt to the Rangers crowd, I think, as well. Sort of going, recognise me, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. Which fair enough. Enjoy your moment. I think he did. He took it quite well tonight, and when he came off, it looked like he was enjoying the booze and stuff like that. Still very much a Celtic man at heart. But Robbie, we've been talking about, it was a really good finish, and we can talk about that. But before we get on to that, I think we need to put an emphasis on this open defence again, because, where was the cover?
Ali McCoy said it in the first half. There was a point where I think Genk attacked on the right-hand side, and Jayden Magoma is sitting in like a centre-back CDM position, and I just looked at that point and went, this Rangers defence really don't change. That it is so open for the full game. I mean, literally for the first whistle, players are all about. It seems to me, honestly, Alex, it looks to me like you've just put 11 players on a football pitch. none of them, none of the defence especially look like they know their position. Tavernier, I thought done all right, to be honest. He always keeps his position. You know what he's like. He's the captain. He just gets it. He knows how to play that role to a T. But Magoma on that left-hand side looks lost off the game. Honestly, really, really bad. Rangers are caught open again. You mentioned it there for the old goal. A really calm and composed finish. I don't think he's going to miss that one. If he missed that one, it would just be a case it's probably not his night, to be honest with you at that point. But no, look, yeah, it's a good finish. Jack Butland's probably quite unlucky. Thinks he's going to go the other direction. A good finish for obviously get every right to celebrate. And I think if that was any other game, I don't think if he'd done that at any other team, I don't think he'd probably take his tap off like that. But it's Rangers in it, so he's always going to stay loyal to the other side of Glasgow. But you're right. I mean, Alex, that must frustrate you so much as a Rangers fan how open that you were for the whole game.
Yeah, it's time and time again as well, Robbie. And see, right, I wouldn't mind it if sacrificing sort of the defending meant we could get to a couple of goals, 2 or 3 goals. But we mentioned it earlier, there's like no attacking threat. There's no creativity. There's no clear-cut opportunities. There's no nice play. We see it in little spells, but overall it's poor, and yeah, it is frustrating just seeing that over and over again. Rangers were cut up and again when O scored again. I'm saying again quite a lot, but he scored the second goal. But Hrofsky, who was very good tonight as well, by the way. Alan McCoist was ranting and raving about him, and rightfully so. Just marginally offside for that goal. He was the one that assisted O, but playing off the back of playing in behind the Rangers defence again, and if he was like a few inches, the other way, I think he still maybe would have got it, and it would have been an onside goal. So Rangers being exposed through that again. So we've kind of talked about the game, but I feel like there's a lot to talk about in terms of like individual performances and Russell Martin's sort of future. Also, as well, I want, before we move on, credit to Genk for getting the win. They weren't great, but they did have some good players. Their goalkeeper, I thought, was extremely good at coming out and collecting crosses from all angles, whether they were deep, whether they were hitting the byline. He seemed to always get to them, get something on it, and just kind of disrupt the Rangers attack. He was really good. Like I said, who was the guy that won the penalty? Oh, his name's escaping me. I thought his decision making was poor, but he was rapid and he kept.
Was it Medina?
Yeah, Medina.
Yeah.
He was good. Other than all his missed chances, I thought I had a pretty good game. Hrofsky and one other one, Kayembe. I think he had a good game as well. Heenan also with that goal line clearance from John Shooter. We forgot to talk about that. Absolutely.
I think McCoy said it one of the best I've probably seen, to be honest with you. I mean, it's spectacular. He's got absolutely right to clear that ball off the line. It's the ball's moving. I'm pretty sure I need to see it back, but I'm pretty sure it's in some speed as well, getting into the net. So the fact he's even managed to get it, it's amazing.
That's poor form for him, blocking a goal from Shooter on his birthday. Absolutely shocking. No, but Genk deserved the win, I'd say, overall tonight. Even though they weren't spectacular either, they were just better than Rangers, and they finished their chances. Well, not all of them, but they finished the chance that they got.
They finished all of them. I don't think there would have been any fans left by full time. But
no.
Look, Genk identified where Rangers' weaknesses were and just exploited them the full game. And
yeah,
I've got to say, Alex, not to look too far ahead, but if you're David Martindale right now, you're looking at that back line and really fancying your chances at the weekend because it's so home all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I'll just pull up let's see. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I was going to pull up a comment there, but there was something in it. But just a few people in the comments saying that Russell Martin should be gone. just over a season ago, we would be beating a team like Genk. That's from Stan. So what do you make of that one, Robbie?
Yeah, any other Rangers team would blow this Genk team at the water. I don't think Genk were anything special, to be honest with you. I thought Genk, again, as I said, they targeted Rangers' weaknesses, pinpointed where, they feel like they could attack, and they've done it really well. I'm not discrediting that. Rangers teams are old in Europe, would be able to handle teams like that. They'd be able to score against teams like that. Decision making, don't seem to have much attacking threat. We're obviously going to speak about individual performances. Mikey Moore's actually a really interesting one in that team. It's just this Rangers team don't look like it. And I will hold my hands up, by the way, and say I am the one who created that title. Is it time to go for Russell Martin? Obviously asking a big question because it's what goes around these days. We'll obviously speak about that later, Alex. I think that's a very interesting conversation. But I do think time is running thin.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned him there. We'll speak about him, Mikey Moore. For me tonight, he had flashes, but he struck me as one, he was trying to do too much. And there was a few times I thought his decision making on the ball was really poor. He did something really, really good. And there was a few times where he could have slid in Tav and he just takes it a bit further. He's trying to look for something else. And obviously that one where he jumps in front of Raskin. Seemed like tonight he had a bit of a chip on his shoulder to try and prove something, but he just did far too much and overplayed a little bit.
He's a very indecisive player, Alex. You remember the bit I'm talking about in the first half. You talked about Tav there, where he picks up the ball on the right hand side, and Tav's got 3 players surrounding him. Could have slipped him in just like 2 seconds before, but he waits that extra 2 seconds, tries to play Tav, and Tav just gets surrounded by the 3 of them and's got no choice, and he loses the ball. And at that point, I think McCoy's mentioned it as well. You're just like, you need to just be so sharp in these moments. I don't think he was sharp enough. I don't think his decision making was anywhere near what it needed to be in this type of fixture. And look, I'm not wanting to come on here and just go at this young lad because he's still a young guy. He's going to get a lot more chances. I bet.
So we talk about. It's funny how I think we talk about players like that in comparison to a guy we were giving massive credit to before the show, Colby Donovan. He's a young player and all that, and coming up, and I think we think of the young Scottish guys coming through as kids, whereas if we get like a lone player from Tottenham, you think of them as they're a player already. I think Mikey Moore's actually younger than Colby Donovan.
Yeah.
So it's funny, and I'm guilty of doing that myself.
And by the way, every player should rightly be criticised or praised. Colby Donovan should get all the praise for the way he played.
Exactly.
Mikey Moore should get praise when he does well, and I thought he showed glimpses. You're right, but it's like any other player in the world. At the end of the day, if you're playing football at a professional level, you're clearly good enough in some aspects. So for me, you can praise and be negative to players all you want. I'm not going to sit on a show though and be negative about Mikey Moore for an hour. That's not fair on the guy. I thought there was other players in there. We'll speak about more Diomande and depth, I'm sure. There is other players in there that you can sort of have a wee go at, a wee nibble at if you like. But I do think his indecisiveness really cost Rangers in some attacks tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move on to him since you mentioned him there. The red card receiver, the reckless endangerment of Mohamed Diomande. I think in the last few games, I've definitely seen a progression of sort of a progression of aggression from him. Maybe recklessness in his play. He's not, although he did have a couple of good moments, moving the ball on tonight. I don't know if he's been asked to do this or because it doesn't seem very Mo Diomande. But recently, Robbie, he's been getting about and not in a good way. He's been, it seems like he's been going out with the intent to actually do a little bit of damage.
It definitely feels that way. I suppose you probably wake up to find media highlights that are like Mo Diomande purposely gets sent off or something along the lines. You know what I mean? It's always going to come out. I think I'd be interested to hear Alex, right? My cousin Lewis. I don't know if he's watching or not, but he goes to every Rangers game, right? And he's been going for the Rangers as long as I can remember. And one player he's just never liked is Mo Diomande. Even when he first came in, he was never a fan of him for day one. I don't know if he's changed his mind now, right enough. I don't see it after tonight, to be honest. But one player just never fancied was Mo, and I don't know what the reason was when he first came in and stuff like that. You know, I don't watch him enough, but it always seems to me that he's just been a player that's never fully maybe been appreciated or been liked by the Rangers fans. I don't know if he's maybe just that type of player or what, but it's just never. I don't think go on the side of the Rangers fans fully.
I think with Diamande, maybe the criticism comes because you've seen. I think he can be better than he consistently is. You know, he's consistently solid, I'd say, but he's showing flashes of he can be like the level of like a Nico Raskin in terms of his importance to the team and his technical ability as well. And he doesn't shoot enough either, because I remember when he first came in, he got a good, like he got a couple of goals and he was really, really good. And then he's dropped off. And yeah, I think that for me personally, I think that's one of the reasons he's frustrated and maybe he doesn't get the supporters on side, because you can see he can be better than that, much better than he is consistently. And tonight he's let the team down with his recklessness. And yeah, I'm not saying Rangers would have won, but obviously with 11 men, it's a massive opportunity for it's a better opportunity, sorry, to win. You've got a much better chance. Dima, he's a funny one, but you know, hopefully he can move on from this, and I'm sure he'll be involved in the squad on Sunday.
I think so. I mean, we're obviously going to speak about Martin in more depth later, but decisions like that really don't help the manager. You know, Martin will come in for the brunt of the stick, of course he will, but any loss he takes now or any points dropped, he will always be the first one that gets the headlines, because we know he's not been good enough. But he will be so disappointed at Mo Diomande tonight, because that is probably cost Rangers getting something out of the game. I really challenge that I don't think he particularly had to make in that moment either. So, you know, I'm sure all the headlines, and we've got it in the title as well, I'm sure everything will go towards Russell Martin tonight, but player mistakes like that really don't help a manager out when they're struggling.
Yeah, it's a silly decision, in an area of the pitch where it's not really necessary to make that challenge.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll go on to the striker position now, and it's kind of linked to Russell Martin, a big decision tonight to put in Yusuf Chermiti over Bojan Miovski, and it didn't really work out. He was anonymous for the first half. He started getting involved in the second, although I don't think he had a shot in the game. I can't remember one.
No, that I can remember.
Which is shocking from your striker, especially your £8 million, possibly rising to £10 million striker. And yeah, I thought he had some good moments. He showed some technical ability, some nice hold up. But if we're talking about managerial decisions, I think he definitely got this one wrong tonight, starting him over Miovski.
He did, and I'm not going to, I don't like to come on and write off players straight away. You know, he's barely even played. This to me, Alex, I don't know about you from a Rangers standpoint, this to me, as soon as this got rumoured of being announced, in my mind was never going to be a good decision. This guy, and I don't doubt his abilities, he's definitely got something, that's why he's went for so much. But I think with the way the fans were going at that time when he signed, with the feelings of the club, to go out and spend £8 million on him was the complete wrong decision for Rangers, and I think that will personally go on to be a poor decision. I hope it turns it around. I never like to see players do bad, and I never like to see players, get a lot of stick. So I do hope he can turn his form around and maybe find some fortune in the league in Europe. But this to me just isn't going to work. And he picked him and Miovski's baffling to me. Miovski's a guy that I know he knows the Scottish League, but he just knows, I think, what it's like to play at a club as big as Rangers. And that's not me saying Chermity isn't, and he doesn't know. But Miovski for me was the obvious pick for that game. So I think Russell Martin got this one wrong tonight, 100%.
Yeah, he definitely did. And I agree with you. When I heard about the rumours about the transfer, and I thought, oh God, and I looked at his record and I went, this is going to go one of two ways. He's either going to come in, he's going to be brilliant, which seems unlikely, or we're going to shell out our second highest transfer fee ever on a dud. And so far, it's not looking great. And yeah, tonight I would have had Miovski in over him. I just think he offers more. Also, as well, do you think it's silly taking a player out after he's just scored his first goal for the club, and he's probably riding high on confidence?
I actually meant to speak about that in the previous show. I was actually going to bring that up at some point about Miovski scoring at the weekend, and I think it is. What baffles me even more, Alex, is the fact that these Rangers managers, and there's been multiple of them now, and it's not just Martin, no one's experimenting with the two up top, and it's been tried before. People have tried it with all different striker combinations. I remember Danilo and Dessers played one game I can remember with two up top. Why are we not experimenting with the two up top if you're a Rangers man? It is such an obvious fit. Two up top, I think, would suit Rangers to an absolute T, and I'm surprised my Rangers man just haven't tried it permanently yet.
Yeah, definitely. I think I said, see, when I was, well, I still want him gone, but see, when after, I think it was maybe the Hearts game, and I was like, get him gone. I was saying, get Sean Dyche in and get the 4-4-2 going. No, but I think you should try it. But that goes against the vegan ball and his philosophy, and all of that. He doesn't change it no matter what. So yeah, but I think the two of them up top together would be good. Even Miovski and Danilo up top together. Maybe in that scenario, you take away a bit of the threat of Gassama on the left-hand side, because you need to play a more reserve role. I think Ant-Man playing right mid would suit him. I don't know who would put in that two in the middle, though. Maybe Raskin and Dio.
Aye, Dio. I mean, I think a few fans would probably put in a shout for Barron, but I don't know your thoughts on him.
I don't know. I just think
He's
he doesn't offer enough going forward. I think he's an out and out DM.
Aye, 100%. You know who would have been a good front two for Rangers? Miovski and Shankland would have been absolutely ideal if you had the both of them up front.
That's lethal.
That's very lethal. And can you imagine, trying to fit in, and I know it's very FIFA-y, but a 4-2-4 where you're still playing with wide players. You they have Kasama and Ant-Man or whoever else on the right, and you're attacking at teams with all force. I mean, that would be lethal. I mean, it's weird with Chermity, right? Can you see if it was Miovski that you paid £8 million for, and it was Chermity that I can't remember how much Miovski was exactly. But if it was running about Miovski's price and you swapped him, I don't think they would have probably batted an island, to be honest with you. But the fact that it's the other way about, just it's mental to me.
Yeah, Robbie, you got me dreaming there of an actual good team, and I forgot where I was for a minute. But yeah, on that point, definitely. And Miovski, I think he will be a good signing, and getting him for like 2.6 million. When Aberdeen, I think, sold him for around 6 to 8, are in that region. So yeah, that was a really good deal, and in the end. But I think we'll go. Who should we talk about next? Who's another contentious player? Have you got anyone in mind?
I don't know about contentious. I do want to speak on Cornelius. I want to know your thoughts on him, because to be honest with you, I don't feel bad for this lad, but again, he's been flung into a team where things aren't going well right now, so I feel like it's easy to criticise or praise a player, but what did you make him?
I thought he was actually all right. I thought his on the ball play was really good. His distribution, you can see he's got quality in that field. He's not the quickest. I've noticed that the past couple of games, which is maybe a downfall to him. But I don't think you can blame either of the centre backs for the kind of openness, because I think that's down to the full backs and their sort of inverted roles in the way Russell Martin's instructing them to play, which is unfortunate. So, overall, I thought he was all right, unless I've missed something glaring he's done in the game.
No, I just want to get your thoughts on him because it's the first time I've got to sit down and watch him. So I just want to know what you've got. But you're right that on that point. Watch Souttar for Scotland. I keep saying this to people. Souttar plays such a nice natural role in Scotland. He looks very sharp. He looks good. He comes back into a Rangers team, and no fault of his own, by the way. This is completely Martin's tactics. He looks a bit lost at times out there, and that's no again anything on the back too. I'm sure with a different manager and a different tactics on that, the back four probably look very settled, and I do think all four of them at the back there have quality. Although Magoma was getting some amount of stick for Ali McCoy specifically tonight, I do think it's just these tactics that are really, really getting the worst out of these players and not the best.
Aye, definitely. And I think due to the tactics as well, something Souttar's kind of become famous for, but I think we're seeing it every week under Martin, as he has kind of thrown himself to make blocks. And I'm actually surprised that he's not had, he had kind of that spell at Hearts and that first year at Rangers and of injury, but I'm actually surprised he's not had many more, the way he throws his body about. It is. You were talking about Scotland there as well. He looks really solid at Scotland, and we've got a comment here from Ethan, member of the show. Always knew was a great player. Do we think Russell Martin will still be in the dugout if he doesn't pick up 3 points on Sunday? If Russell Martin doesn't pick up 3 points on Sunday, I won't be back on this show ever again. I'm going to retire from any public facing, sort of YouTube or any kind of media. I'm done. No, but I don't know, because I think the owners have shown that they've got the ability to just let him ride it out. You know what I mean?
Should he be? No, it shouldn't be in the dugout after tonight, to be honest with you. If I'm being really honest,
he should have been gone from the dugout after like the second or third league match day.
Dundee at home.
Yeah,
that's when they should have been at the dugout realistically. But no, he shouldn't be in the dugout right now. Will he be after Sunday, even if they drop points? I think so. I think the next time we're likely to see Russell Martin leave the next international break.
Aye.
Which isn't far away. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that would be the ideal kind of time to see him go. But I don't know. I just feel like these owners are, kind of the modern way of, we believe in what we're doing and all that. You know what I mean? They're just going to stick to they brought in a manager who has the same philosophy as them. Do plan A better. You know what I mean? I'll get that feeling from them.
If they'd admitted a few weeks ago, if they'd sacked him a few weeks ago and admitted, came out and said, look, we got this wrong, we know we did, that would have been a better situation. Now they're kind of forced Alex into sticking with a man that they picked. I've got a question for you, right? And I'd love to hear the chat's answer to this as well. If Russell Martin somehow, some miracle, turned this around and turned this ship around and started winning games, and let's just say by some miracle they win the league right at the end of the season, Would that be a big? I feel like it would. Maybe not win the league, right? But see if he somehow turns this around and keeps his job, is that a bigger turnaround than David Gray? Take the league aspect out of it. If he just manages to somehow turn this around and keep winning and keep his job, not even win the league, would it be a bigger turnaround than Gray?
No, because Rangers have more resources. Rangers on paper have better players. I think what David Gray did was nothing short of miraculous.
Yeah.
It would be miraculous if it's close. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that the fact that Rangers have, Chermiti by himself, let's say 10 million, right, is probably close to like Hibs' starting 11 in terms of value. Maybe Chermiti plus Cornelius, the two deadline day signings, are probably in terms of value close to Hibs' starting 11. So I think David Gray that would be better, but Russell Martin doing that as well also would be ridiculous.
It is meant that I think Chermiti's value alone could buy the full of the bottom six. But probably each team has value alone. You could probably buy every player in each of the bottom six clubs.
Yeah, it's nuts, and he's probably worse than all of them. So I couldn't get a game. I mean, would you take Chermiti over Simon Murray? I don't think so.
I wouldn't take Chermiti out of front three that we've got, to be honest with you.
Well, I'd take your front three over our front three. Right? I'd take your start 11 over our start 11.
You take a manager, definitely.
I was actually talking to Ryan about that, and I wouldn't take Stephen Robinson.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm interested. What's your thoughts behind that?
People will call it Rangers arrogance, but I just don't think he'd fit. He's obviously a better manager than Russell Martin, but I don't think, and he would pick up more points, but I don't think he'd do what we want to happen. I mean, if we were pushing for second again, I'd take him, but I'd if we were looking to contend for the league title, which we're a long way away from right now, I wouldn't bring in Stephen Robinson.
Interesting. I mean, I get it. I get why a lot of Rangers fans wouldn't take Robinson. The way I look at it right now, Rangers need some form of defensive stability right now. That's probably the biggest thing. I look at that Rangers team and go, that drastically needs to change, because the rate in which Rangers are conceding goals and the way they're defending is just flat out awful. I think Robinson could go in and become a dominant manager. I think he's got the chance. I think he's got adaptability in his system. I don't think he's going to come into Rangers, put a back five, play two up top and play direct football, as Chris Sutton would play when they want to watch football. You know what I mean? I don't think he'd come in and do that. I think he utilises players well. I think it would work personally, but I can see why people don't. So I mean, it's a fair point for you.
Definitely. We've just got a wee comment here from Stan. We did speak about it earlier about Rangers' sort of weaknesses in behind, and you're absolutely right there, mate. The long ball gets us every single time, and we spoke about the openness and the sort of it's ridiculous. I'm just going to see if there's any more comments here.
Chris Sutton must have thought it was sitting on playing Rangers tonight with their long balls, according to the way we play against Rangers and Celtic.
Maybe Genk will look to bring a young guy in, on him. Seems like he's picked up a talent for it. Rangers tonight kick off their European campaign with a 1-0 defeat. So not a great week for Scots in Europe. Celtic's result was considerably better, going away to Belgrade and getting a point. Now it's all on Aberdeen next week, Robbie. I'm sure on the Scottish Football Zone we'll talk about it more in depth, but it's an extremely difficult game they've got against Shakhtar Donetsk.
I will be very interested to see if Jimmy Tilline's in a job for that game. I will be. I'm really surprised he's not at the door right now, to be honest, Alex. I suppose that's probably a talking point for tomorrow, but you're right. Rangers' next game's away to Sturm Graz. Sturm Graz just lost 2-0 to FC Midtjylland in the Europa League on their opening match day, so they're not playing great either. I think they did beat Salzburg though the game before that, so I suppose they're sort of up and down in form right now. Rangers, a lot all left to be desired for the weekend, Alex. It's at the point now where it is literally do or die for that whole Rangers team. Yeah, away to Livingston, the team that just conceded 3 goals to Dundee, really not playing well, to be honest with you.
Dundee are a good team, man. They got a draw at Ibrox.
I know they might cause us trouble on Saturday as well. Jesus, I'm worried for them. But no, Livingston haven't had probably the start I would have thought they would have had back, to be honest with you. I thought they would have been pushing at the league a wee bit. There's a lot to discuss with Rangers, but I think the one thing is, I'm going to be honest, Alex, I don't see Russell Martin surviving this, to be honest. No the night, but just this Rangers managerial job.
No, me neither. I hope he doesn't, unless we turn into prime Barcelona overnight. I hope he, boosts as soon as possible, because I've seen nothing. I've said it for weeks, nothing to indicate that there is even a chance, a sliver of a chance at improvement. There's no light at the end of the tunnel under Russell Martin. Although I feel like there are parallels. We were speaking about Jimmy Tilline. There might be parallels there, because Jimmy Tilline is living off his Scottish Cup win. They've invested a lot in his signings. Russell Martin, new manager, the new owners want this to be their kind of flagship guy. They've invested a lot in his signings, and with a manager turnover comes manager wanting his own players. Obviously, he still will use some of the players who are there, but you don't want basically a sort of revamp in January. Do you think that's part of the reason why both of them are still in jobs?
I think so, but you've got to get to a point where you look at both jobs and you've just got to pull the trigger. At some point, you've just got to get them sacked. The Tilline one, I think, for me, is especially baffling. 5 wins in 32 league games, I think I'm right in saying. I'm actually just going to have a quick look who Aberdeen play next while we're here on the topic. They play Motherwell next game, so away at Fir Park. Just lost to Motherwell in the cup. I don't see Tilline surviving until January, to be honest. I don't see either manager, if I'm being brutally honest. I think I see Russell Martin more than Jimmy Tilline. But look, they're sitting 11th and 12th in the league. Got 2 of the worst teams in the league so far. So, I mean, that tells you everything you need to know about the both managers. They're clearly not doing very well. 2 very big tests at the weekend for both clubs. I think both need to win. It keeps something going, but no, I can't see Tilline specifically, Alex, surviving until January.
No, and it's mental as well if you look at the 2 squads and the quality in there, especially with Aberdeen. I think their squad is insane to be in the position that it's in. I mean, Adil Al-Shish, Jasper Carlson, absolutely nutty signing, bringing in Stuart Armstrong. That might be one of their downfalls, though. Their midfield, all of them came with Zimmer frames. You've got Graham Shinney, Stuart Armstrong, Nielsen as well. That might be one of their major issues. No legs in the middle, but the rest of the squad is really good, and I think they are massively underperforming, as well as Rangers.
0 goals scored for Aberdeen in the league this season. 0 goals scored in the last 5. I mean, that is bizarre. It doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter if players in the midfield need stretchers after the game to get off the pitch. I mean, that is really bad if you're not scoring. And some of the teams have played it. I mean, Falkirk at home, absolutely no disrespect to Falkirk, but Aberdeen should be wiping the floor with teams like that. Livingston at home, the game after 0-0. Aberdeen should be putting a few goals by Livingston and Falkirk. they are going to, if they don't sort it out, they will get hammered off a Shakhtar next week. I think. I do think they're seriously onto some really bad results coming up.
Yeah, absolutely. So back to Rangers tonight. It's not the best start. They go away to Sturm Graz next week. You mentioned it earlier. You did mention as well they lost 2-0 to Midtjylland. So who Hibs went toe-to-toe with earlier in the season. So that might give you an idea of where Sturm Graz are at. That is now a must-win game for Rangers, Robbie.
Aye. I'll be interested to see who's in the dugout, and I think I'm confident in saying it will be Russell Martin, but you just never know. If the Livingston game goes bad, it might not be, but I'm going to safely assume it is, and if it is a must-win game. You're travelling away to a ground where they did, credit to them, as I said before, that game beat Salzburg, so, they're winning games. It's not like they're on a mad losing streak and they're not playing well. They can get wins, but you're right, they beat a Midtjylland team that Hibs went toe-to-toe with, and we know Hibs right now, they're not great defensively, so it's going to be so interesting to see. I think the next 4 games for Rangers are very telling. Away to Livingston, away to Sturm Graz, away to Falkirk, 3 away games in a row, and then at home to Dundee United is your final one. That is 4 games there that you'd look at any other season, Alex, and Rangers would win all of them comfortably. Now you look at it, where are they picking up points?
Yeah, literally, I'm thinking that that's a tough run. I was listening to you read that and going, oh, away to Livingston. I'm like, oh no, away to Sturm Graz. Oh, away to Falkirk. They've been all right. We've been rubbish.
The game after Dundee United, by the way, away to SK Brann, that is obviously a name I remember very, very well for our time in Europe. They, I believe, lost 2-1 to Lille. I believe Igman and Oliver Giroud scored in that game for Lille. Brann went away, put on a pretty decent performance for what I heard. In Europe, I mean, look, Alex, I don't think you did, and I don't think Keith or anybody else on the show did. A lot of Celtic, Rangers, and a lot of fans I've seen online in this league were slating us for that loss, right? And I personally don't believe they should be, because Brann are a really strong team. They compete with some of the best teams in that league. I think Bodo Glimt they compete with, who's caused teams problems in the league before. That for me is not a right half either. I think a lot of Rangers fans probably calling that the easiest game at the Europa League. I think that will be really tough for Rangers. I don't think they can handle the physicality of that Brann team, to be honest.
Oh, big call from Robbie Collins, the Oracle, at it again. Yeah. As well, am I correct in saying that Brann play on a plastic pitch as well?
I can't remember. I don't think it's plastic. No, I know that. My memory serves me correct.
Am I getting confused with Valur or something?
Valur play on plastic. I know that.
Right.
I'm not sure if Brandy, Ryan might need to correct us on that one, because I know he went there, but it's not a big stadium. It's around the same as ours. I believe they've got 7,700 in their stands, but we actually, I think, have more. So, that sort of tells you the level of the stadium. But see that atmosphere, honestly, Alex, I don't know if you remember watching the game, if you've seen a Brann game at their stadium, but the atmosphere is so intense. I mean,
I think I did watch that game, actually.
Yeah, really good atmosphere, good home fans as well. So that will be an interesting game as well. I'm actually quite excited to watch that one. I mean,
sounds like you're excited to see Brann run all over Rangers.
No, I know it sounds that way. I want Rangers to win every game. But if Brann did run over Rangers, I'd only love it for one reason, and I love it because the amount of sticks that one took for losing to them the 2 legs was mental at the time. But I still want Rangers and Celtic to win every game in Europe for the coefficient. But there is 5 games there that just scream that points up in places. I mean, Rangers could go out and win the next 4. Who knows? But they also could go out and drop points in the next 4. And then, not to go too far ahead, but you're getting into November and you're seeing Celtic, Roma, you're seeing Hibs away. I mean, the fixture list just is not kind at all. And at a time where Rangers just played a home European game and didn't manage to score, it's a bit worrying.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll call it there, will we, Robbie? Unless you've got any other points.
No, I think anything else we can obviously touch on the show tomorrow. I do believe there is a live tomorrow, Alex.
I'm not 100%, but I think Reagan will be hosting the live show tomorrow afternoon. So make sure to come in and tune in on that. Make sure to subscribe, follow on all platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. If you've enjoyed tonight's stream and the content we're producing, thank you to everyone for watching and listening. Goodbye.